Vale. Just vale. Yang di ci de Yang di ci是的样人的你送的ci的理解Gyumed的对困难ci的yang di ci Gyumed的写节吧yang di ci Gyumed的写的yang di ci写的ci的你送ci你送ci理解Gyumed的困难Gyumed的对困难怎么写吧최소냐 비지 그 이제는 Gyumed 코네치스 더 Gyumed 이체는 더 최소비야리 어디 Gyumed 더 미숨시디 디제 Gyumed 더 소나비베 소나비 다기 그래서 제도스 하나님 아니 순서기 유디 유마미나 최선군에버지 제사 Gyumed 코나를 되버리스 디치 야 디치세디你送的起的理解Gyumed对困难怎样是的样的这些的怎样写吧我是的怎样去写的去送这个对的明白了对吧理解明白了对吧的这些吧爸爸讲的是我就接把你手机上的爸爸写的手机上的爸爸的토람 토바디 체네다 소질레 반다 가사디 파바레 두고 인스네 소지 살레 캬바도 파베나 파바세 파바제레시시아 파바디 아니 소질은 지마지베지 소지 살레 캬바도 파바 다 파베는 판 토바지는지 지구에 파바세디 가리 파바세디 가리레 파바레스는 소지 살레야 캬바도 파바레스 다 파바제레시시아디 다 제레시기 알레
Okay, now go back to the text, root text. This is at the same time. There's another word indication of time, right? The sentence begins with at that time, and the blessed one enter into absorption and characters phenomena for perception of profound. And there's a redundant about the time. It says at that same time. It's repeated again. And so in the Tibetan version, it says yang deche. Yang deche means like at the same time, right? At the same time, it's repeating the time of the teaching. So this repeating about the time of the teaching is making sure that is in making sure that it understand a very specific time and very unique time. So that's why it has been repeated twice, right? So it's making sure that what time specifically we're talking about. So then when we repeat it second time, it's making sure that at that time refers to the being's mind has been fully kind of mature about this teaching to perceive these teachings. And then it also indicates that the karmic kind of connection or the karmic has been ripening these individuals to receive these teachings, as this is the very specific time. So when the beings, their mind is mature to receive this kind of teachings, and then this teaching has been revealed to these very specific individuals because of their mental capacity. Their mental capacity is ready to receive this kind of teachings. So then when their mind is ready to receive this kind of teaching, and it is allowed to give teachings to this kind of teaching beings, because they are appropriate kind of recipient for this kind of teachings. And that's why it says young Vietnam is repeating another time. And then in Tibetan it says Papa Jeresik, Papa Jeresik. In English, noble Avalokiteshvara, right? Noble Avalokiteshvara. Papa means superior. Superior here refers to the Avalokiteshvara is superior being, because the Avalokiteshvara is kind of cross the border of the samsara existence. That means like the Avalokiteshvara has been gone beyond samsara existence. That's why it refers that kind of beings refers as a supreme beings, or superior kind of supreme beings. So supreme beings again here when you say Papa, so that's also refers to a being who has been seeing emptiness directly. So that means like it could be Arahats or it could be Aryas, right? Arya and Aryas equal Papa, and the I think the we call it Sanskrit translation for Papa would be Arya. Arya, Arya Avalokiteshvara. Here we say the noble Avalokiteshvara. So Arya Arya Avalokiteshvara. And Chen Papa, like Chen Resik.
Oh, that is it. Papa's she's Drutasung.
No.
Papa Genesis. Papa Genesis, incorrect.
Chen Resik. One should share the part.
Unjus, Chevra. Papa Genesis. Unjus. That is. Dunga tell almost Unju said it. Se Papa Genesis. Unju said, Unya di Carrillo, Marisina. Dunga tell Chevala. The change is in it. Dunga tell Chevala. Was. The Unya di Papa Genesis. Semjigi. And Semjigi Sala seen. Ni Tungaji Sinjel seen, didn't to make the Tewat Chevala once. Unju said to need to tell Cheva in his son. Any Papa says Unju said.
So let's see, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva and the great being, beheld the practice of profound perfection of wisdom. So that 580, that's empty. Okay, so I don't see the translation for Onchuk. Right? Onchuk means someone who has gained fully kind of freedom, or have gained controlled over something. So that's what it's called Onchuk. So then we refer to Avalokiteshvara as Onchuk, or someone who has controlled, or someone who's the freedom. So that means when the generosity or Avalokiteshvara, by looking at these suffering sentient beings, and then they're looking at suffering sentient beings and viewing sort of like suffering sentient beings, and but not seeing their suffering sentient beings. The Avalokiteshvara has a power to liberate them from the sufferings of some sentient beings suffer. So that power is called Wonchu. So he had the Avalokiteshvara has a freedom or has the power to free sentient beings from freely sort of like free sentient beings from the sufferings of the samsara.
that jealousy, some jealousy in doing the theory, but almost in that. Unju Papa jealous, Unju say only at the doing the theory, Chibala, Oasine, doing the to Niji Shawan to June, doing the theory. Cheba in Sunny, the Oas, Slim Bridge, to Jichi. Jealous, changes, Sinjil, to make it now is in jealousy, need to make the theory Cheba. Cheba in Sun, theory Cheba on us.
Yes. So the Wonchu again, Wonchu or Wong normally translates power by power. So here, Avalokiteshvara is someone who has power to liberate sentient beings from the sufferings of samsara. So that means because of the compassion mind or the force of compassion in the Avalokiteshvara, force in the Avalokiteshvara to develop great compassion, and that great compassion forced him to liberate sentient beings from samsara, the sufferings of the samsara.
Then is that the Papa Generous said the Nijitani is here, Nijitani, Tanijitilla, to net 10 to the Nijis, come to the Nijis in to net the Tenachi Maroon, Yampatil that to Niji, to net 10 to the Nijis here. Nay, to net the Tevati. 다기 저우냐베 쿠르 체바til라 아니 정득이 니지스기 니지til라 말한주 동네데 제나치 마루 냠바티 선제 동네 진기 선제 미 통인데 동네데 제나치 마루 냠바티 선 전득이 니지게스게 되네 동네데 다기 저기 상패 쿠르 체바 이 동네에 대외 탑을 반주 받들려 네 정득이 지시기를 담보 중에서 제가 다기 저기 스전했더니 중에 대외 탑을 대바디 네 정득이 지시기를.
So when it comes to talk about the compassion mind or compassion, so compassion has different levels. One level is more like aspiration, and another one's more like engagement or commitment. The tendu means that wishing them to be separated from their sufferings or wishing them to be free from their sufferings is more like aspiration, wish. And then the second type of compassion would be like taking full responsibility to free all sentient beings from their suffering. That will be more engagement, compassion, engaged kind of compassion. So then the first one, aspiration, is like when we see sufferings of sentient beings, then by appreciating these sufferings of the sentient being, force us to feel that would it be so nice to free sentient beings from sufferings, or wishing them to be free from their sufferings. So then you're just imagining that if they are free from their suffering, would that be like so nice to have that kind of feeling? So that kind of wishing is called like more like aspiration, the compassion. So then the next level of compassion is taking responsibility, like so. Saying, I will liberate all sentient beings from their sufferings. Because of that, then I need to acquire all these causes and conditions for that. So I'm going to engage in all these practices, the method to develop that kind of ability. That is more like engaged compassion.
어다디네 니지 첨부해야 돼. 동해대 된도 니지 첨부해야 돼. 동해 전기 심제 관리지 매수네. 어디는 동해대 때는 찜으로 냠바지. 아니 된도기 니지 첨부해야 되다. 자니 봤음 근데 지미네. 나랑기는 랑기 녀이 둘러서 봐도 술면 인지 텐트 동네들 때는 지마로 냠배 인지 기들 봐 디네야 야 라는 내가 징여부터 든지 동네 진지 심지 통순이 텐트 때는 지마로 냠배로 좀 많이 받기 말아 봐. 그 재산 디 제는 인지디 초려하는 친구들이 인지 친구 많이 단데 동네 전투기 인지 친구 세야 돼. 동네 전기 심지 간대지 친미네. 자니 밤 간대지 링이네. 동네들 때는 지마로 년배 롱나나 슈슈비 집게 될 전투기 인지 친구 인지 친구 세야 돼. 동네 전기 심지 가는 미장 개통이 지고 비야 돼. 이 아니디 동네 전기 심지 배는 랑가다라지 투수는 딜레 저는 지마로 냠베티게 마투는 동네들 된적이 인지 침부시야 말이야. 랑기 녀이 돌려서바당 다음에 펜도 진에 두수 동네들 때는 지마로 냠베게 야랑 내가 내가 진행을 소바tinel라 동네 진에 나서는 뒤 동네들 때는 지마로 냠벨로디 좀 많이 받을 게 맞으면 안에 전두기인지 침부시게야 말이야.
So these are the two level of compassion, and then there's another type of compassion called supreme compassion or great compassion. So the great compassion is someone who can or someone's able to develop compassion towards every single sentient beings, regardless of their personal relationship with that individuals. So then normally what happens when we can easily develop compassion towards our loved ones, someone who is friends to you, and families, and the families towards the families and stuff like that. So then when we see our family being suffered or the friends being suffered, then easily we can have a wish them to get free from their sufferings, and also in some level of the commitment is being placed. So when we see the sufferings of our the relatives, one's a relative or someone you consider as a friend, right? So then when it comes to our enemy, so someone we identify that as an enemy, so then we struggle to develop compassion towards them. So then when we talk about great compassion, so great compassion, some great compassion is something like that. We can develop compassion towards even someone's really mean to us, and someone we consider as an enemy. So that's why. So we keep all sentient beings as same. We don't make a differentiate between sentient beings. We regard all sentient beings as a suffering beings and someone who wish to have happiness. So we see all sentient beings feel like same level. We don't identify some as your friend, some as your enemy. So we develop some kind of compassion towards entire sentient beings equally. So that kind of compassion is called great compassion. So otherwise, if we do have some compassion, or if this compassion is only applied to our relative ones, so that's not a great compassion, because we have like biased kind of feelings towards other sentient beings. Because of that feeling, so that it will not make a great compassion. Great compassion is equal to entire sentient beings, regardless of our personal relationship with the individuals.
that means 가르래.
인지 친구.
인지 침부를 봐. 어인센터 동네기 인지 첨부들 동네도 전주기 인지 첨부스 아니 동네 좀도 인지 첨부스 니 다 대나찜으로 냠베베 샘딩네지 예버지 다 전주기 인지 첨부스리요 다 좀도 인지 첨부스야 돼 동네들이 쪽에 아니 그렇게 들이 저들이 주네 아니 가르치고 있네지 동네들이 저들이 탑시 가르치고 있네 제야를 봐 이제 두장마디 좀도 있는지 좀 보시게 어디 예상 어디를
So then again, when we talk about great compassion, it has also two levels of understanding, two levels of practices. So first, it's a form of wish all sentient beings may free from sufferings. So you can develop this intention or feeling towards entire sentient beings, regardless of your personal feelings and stuff like that. So then the engagement, same thing for the engagement. So you can develop that engage kind of compassion towards entire sentient beings. So when you see sentient beings, then try to help them physically or verbally, whatever, no matter what kind of action it could be. So if you literally engage into this kind of action, so that's called the engaged compassion. Engagement compassion.
that's it. That's a gender 인지 친구다. 좀도 인지 친구니 좀도 인지 친구들 하버린 거리. 그 대나지만으로 삼바좀 텔레 마샤비제 디 동네들 저비체도 그렇게 보이는데 그렇게는 얘기지야 돼 제수는 아니디 좀도 인지 친구스리야 또 쳐리.
So among those two levels of compassion, wishing compassion and engagement compassion, so engagement compassion is more profound and more it's superior than the other one, because when it comes to engagement compassion, so engagement compassion means you're doing something for other sentient beings. You're not just keeping as your wish. So that the first one is just wish, you're not doing anything. You have very nice, beautiful thoughts or wish to have sentient beings free from sufferings, but you're not doing anything. The second type of compassion is engagement compassion. You're doing something to provide happiness or helping them to get free from their sufferings.
어디 동네들 전주기 인지 친구세야 돼 동네 진지 신제 가는 미장 동네에다 전주기 롱한기 잡았지 저 중수는 전주기 인지 친구세야 돼 근데 동네 등나게 신제 그 시통 랑기 잘라서 버틴데 통수는 동네들 전주기 롱한기 게 맞은 애들이 중수는 랑기니에로 된들 투나 된들로 비비토 랑을 너버 친이 동네 전이 신지지 통수는 들이 동네들 된들 롱한기 게 맞으나 아니 된들이니 친구식이야 말이 이제 된들이니 친구셔야 돼 동네 전이 신제 강은 미장 동네들 된들이 롱한기 게 가지고 그래야 돼 어디에서 다니는지 친구셔야 돼.
So the one unique distinction about the great compassion is that as soon as we see a suffering sentient beings, a suffering sentient being, that will be our objective, only objective. So as soon as we see all the suffering sentient beings, naturally seeing that sentient beings being suffer, so that naturally it actually makes you generate compassion towards that sentient beings. So that's in the compassion. That compassion comes to you naturally because just merely seeing suffering sentient beings. If you have that kind of capacity, if you have that kind of ability, that is called compassion. So what happens is sometimes when we look at a group of sentient beings, suffering sentient beings, then we become more like selective. Then we look into someone who is our relative or someone who's close to you. So then we tend to develop more compassion towards them naturally. And then on the other hand, if some people, if you don't like them, or being you don't like them, or they're being you consider them as your enemy, then we struggle to develop compassion. So some we struggle to develop compassion towards them, and then sometimes we need to put a little effort to do this to develop compassion towards them, and it doesn't come so naturally to you. So then when we talk of great compassion, so when we see a self-sentient being, but just by seeing such self-sentient beings force you to develop compassion naturally when it comes to your mind, naturally that kind of level of compassion, their compassion is called great compassion.
다다 병들이 이지 침부세도 동네들 쟁기성제 통네 동네들 제베 아니 그래서 저어디 르 푸네 타제니 저번들이 지야르바 어디 딱 병들이 지시기야르 되네 병들이 지세야지 제가 동네들 저어디 다른 소리니 선발을 이치도 지금 가르치니 지금 추비 자와지는 가르치는 제베이나 네 뒷점적인 지스제 네 더 되는지 말하면 버제 이치도 가르쳐 그래 뒤지를 땅 야다 가리네 뭐부 땅 야다 뒤리기 르푸네 단 맞으버 제르바 어디든 전적인 지제 단 르푸네 로또 비니 저지 다기 저기 냠버르 지중나 아니 전적인 지스리
So the engaged kind of compassion, another means willing to protect, willing to save sentient beings. Sentient beings, that kind of mental attitude or mental thinking is called engaged compassion. Engagement compassion. So that is something like when you see suffering sentient beings being suffer. So then you are willing to do anything for them. So you're willing to do anything, whatever it takes, to free the sentient beings from suffering. So that kind of wish or that kind of commitment and willing to do anything for them is a type of engaged compassion. For instance, like sometimes you can give your time to other sentient beings to free their sufferings. And sometimes you can use your wealth or your time, wealth, any energy you can use on other sentient beings. Usually, when you use the stuff on these sentient beings to free from their suffering, that is called the engagement compassion.
어디네 니지스야 되다 개침부리 있음 돌레딘데 숨유리 취직 러디드 치나 취탐제 러디드 치베 조르스 취직 가시나 니지 오승버리 니지디 니 탐제 자와르 지인버리 니지디 자주비 생기자가리 아니 전주빈이지네 가르치 전주 생기를 받다 전주 생기자와디 니지를 투디에 제선 니지디 취직을 디도 치는 취탐제를 디도 치베 줄었어 취직이 가르치는 니지로 생거리 제선 니지디 아니 아니 가르쳐 그래 민지디 개침부 땅 민지디 최탐제기 가비 최탐제기 자와를 지지기야 어디 지기에서는 최지를 디도 치는 최탐제를 디도 치고 줄었어 지금 간신나서는 민지로 선부리지 사람지 민지세야디 가르쳐 그래 최탐제 민지세야디 전주기 생기 자와르바 디나 신기 아니 최탐제 자월없이 인물이 인지돼 재산 수지 럭디도 치는선 최탐제 럭디도 치스 최탐제 라베티도 이번에 신체를 쓰겠다 인지되나 아니 최탐제 라베티도 이번에지 나도 게 최탐제기 삼반난다라고 지다 좀 많이 버렸지 영화라 또 인지디 그거에 버리 인지 주의는 그래서 이 최탐제기 저를 짓득하네 이티르가 그래서
인지.
어디 뒤에 그래서 이시시 상계 다시 엘리트마스
Yes. The compassion is very important when it comes to Dharma practice. In the Sutra, it said that if you have one Dharma in your palm, so then all the Dharma will follow and naturally. So that means the one Dharma. What is the one Dharma? So the one Dharma is referred to compassion, something like that. It's a right translation for that. And then the compassion is a Dharma practice that if you possess that, if you develop that, the compassion, so then all the other realization of Dharma or the Dharma practices falls into naturally to you. So the compassion is the root of all the other Dharma practices. If you have if you develop the compassion mind. The compassion mind is also root of bodhicitta and all the other. It actually serves all the other, the cause, the main cause of all the other dharma realizations. So that's why in the sutra it said if you have one dharma in your palm, then all the other dharma would follow after that. So that refers to compassion mind. Right?
디 심지에 구제 마도 버라 상계기의 턱심에서디 상계기의 턱지체는 제구는 심제구가 저구리 심제 동해지기 심제를 미네 아니 디 심제 동해지기 심제를 미네 디구 그걸 저구비야리 심지어 구제 마도 상계기의 턱심에서 심제는 루지제 아니 상계를 추가 피니양 아니 투디 메버리 상계 구가 지야 취지 구를 투니에 지제구는 심제 지제죠 심제 구가 지구야래 심제 있던 제 심제 메베 나 동네 진게 심제를 미네데 전투 이미지게네 아니 동네 진게 심제 디 동네 타베 아니 삼바당 아니 디군에 나니 지 수수이 갑도지 동네 진게 심제 용거를 봐 동네 진게 심제 세야디 탐제 세야디 갑도비 심제 동네든 라는 저원이 랑기 제트야기 동네 진게 심제 두술 동네네 아니 동네들 전주길로 게네 아니 탑시를 가르치네 지지야지야를 봐 그치는 심정구를 제세들이 산계 개베 탑지 저부터는 심정구가 저버렸어 상계 구제 심제 구제 마도벌 상계 개베 탑심이 근데 상계 세대 두 저 친구 동해진 예선제를 삐따도 신의 쇼리얼바. 따들려 동해진 예선제를 랑기 크바비 동해진 예선제디 지 동해를 제약 타기는 지 시제가이나 산계기 때를 세디얼바. 동해진 예선제를 세디얼바. 되니 산계기기 버리. 이 마인바 동해진 예선제 아니 지 semje tungne jingi semje tu jine karsure yang mawala tungju rubje ani tungne jingi semje nyam taba gashete yawara dor to su ji nangmeng sore chiche ani tungne jingi semje gashi ji ji suna 티 투기리 양말이 티네 동네지 이게 심지어 강남에는 양 동네도 된다 지마로 그냥 버려지세 어느 마음 버려버린데 접주이네 접 나한테 접이야 그런 주인의 동네지 이게 심지어 것이 통주 점바 동네도 된다 그런지 것이 통주 점바 동네도 semle tangim de chiche gashi tirejindu ani kula tinde juko yu samsara tinde kil segirwa oto sujene te ninji chimbuti ke meberwa ta mebe imbre san ngi ninji chimbu chingi shan de dunge jingi semje kan mi jang dunge da rangin ngangi dunge da tendu 기구야. 이제는 동해진게 심지어 강미장 세대 중에다 전주 되었지만 전했지만으로 삼바지 제베이나 단이 전주인이 친구 스케스리야. 다 동해진게 심지어 것이 통들 동해다 전했지만으로 산 것이지 통이들 동해다 전했지만으로 삼바티네 마기르체 어디 뒤에서는 아니 동해진게 강 심지어 강 미장 동해도 전도 랑근 남기 개버질 동해리 전주가 이지 친구스기야. 다들 주 상단시 시리아르베 란르버지니 그 동해진게 심지어 도수 그 강의 지체에 너버지기야르바 가리니 그란도를 강의 지체니야 너버지야디 강의 지체니 너버지기야르바 도수 그 동해진게 심지어 왠지를 지체 그 강에 들려 전해지만으로 삼바제비는 아니 뒤에 거지. 야, 뒤 많이 받제야. 어디 콜라프네 체도 잠바 코딘지 주고 삼바르 제비는데 니지 침부스 이게 말이 니지 침부스에 돼. 동해진게 심지어 가는 미장 세월이. 니 동해대 때도 남기 개수는 전주기 니지 친구. 동해진게 심지어 가는 미장 이 동해리 정도기 풀 개수는 전주기 니지 친구 써야 돼. 이거는 전주기 니지 친구 때 이게 가고 여러봐. 어디에서
So then another reason, first one reason would be like how important the compassion is that in the sutra again, the sutra said that there's no other way to please Buddhas without pleasing sentient beings. Yeah? So again, we tend to please Buddhas, and we consider Buddha as a very holy object, and then we always put a lot of effort to please Buddhas. Okay? And then in the sutra, it said, no, without pleasing sentient beings, there's no other way to please. And the Buddha is we were not able to do these kind of actions. We were not able to help sentient beings. We were not able to please sentient beings because of lacking compassion in ourselves. That because of that, so we are really struggling to please sentient beings. So then, for instance, when we see sentient beings, so then sometimes we see sentient beings really help that sentient beings. So then, if you find these sentient beings, some of your relatives and stuff like that, you're willing to do something for them. You wish them to free from their sufferings and any problems at the moment. And also some level, like you are willing to do anything for them to help this individual. And then and another group of sentient beings, when you see them as a suffering, so if they are unrelated to you, so then we tend to neglect their concern, and we tend to like abandon their needs and their concern about their welfare and stuff like that. We just not even pay attention on those kind of sentient beings, right? So then when it comes to sentient beings, someone you consider as a suffering, the enemy. So then when you see this kind of suffering sentient beings, so then the worst thing is like we actually rejoice, or we kind of enjoy their suffering. So when you see their suffering, so we feel really kind of joyful about their sufferings and stuff. All of this happens. This is like a form of displeasing sentient beings, that we were actually making sentient beings horrible and helpless and more suffered. Right? So all these are taking place or occurring because of our lack of compassion. So then the lack of compassion is actually force us to make distinction between sentient beings. Some sentient beings we neglect them, some sentient beings we kind of feel good about their sufferings and stuff like that. So then when you talk about the great compassion, so great compassion is, so in order to develop great compassion, naturally great compassion is something like when you see sentient, merely just suffering of sentient things, that itself, only that itself actually forces you to develop compassion. You do not need actually other reasons or other force to develop compassion towards the sentient beings. Just merely seeing sufferings of sentient beings, that triggers you to develop compassion. If you do it naturally, this compassion has to become naturally to you. If you're able to do that, that level of compassion is called a great compassion. So you don't see the status of the sentient beings, you don't regard them as any differentiate from yourself, and so that you're just looking at their sufferings, and then looking at this as suffering, and then it's as suffering, the sentient being being suffered. So then looking at the suffering, you just wish them to free from their suffering. Then when you develop wishing them to free from their sufferings, just seeing the sentient being as a suffering, right? So then that kind of suffering, the compassion is called wishing compassion. So then if you don't leave that alone, sort of like, so you're willing to do something for them, you just move forward and do something for them. So then if you engage in some form of like actions to help this kind of sentient being, that kind of that kind of action is called the engaged kind of body, the compassion. So then so yeah, and then again, also go back to this idea of like pleasing sentient being, right? Sorry, pleasing Buddhas. So normally we do a lot of stuff to please Buddhas. So then when we look at the Buddha's intention, what's Buddha's primarily thinking or thoughts? Is when we look at their thought, their primary thinking is just that they're constantly sort of like focusing and looking at these sufferings of the sentient beings. They're always looking at opportunity to help. How can I say sentient being? This is the only their concern. Right? So then, on the other hand, we try to please them, and we approach or sort of like opposite sentient beings. On the other hand, so it is impossible we can actually please the Buddhas. So then again, so if you torture sentient beings, that kind of actions or that kind of mental attitude is not actually aligned with thoughts of the Buddhas. So this is going against the thoughts of the Buddha. So then it is impossible we can please Buddhas by harming sentient beings, right? So then, when we say like helping sentient beings, means like, so that sentient beings really enormous, like that's limitless. So when we say helping sentient beings means you need to look really immediate, kind of like beings right next to you. So helping them. So if you help them, your relatives, and someone who's close to you, someone who sees the sufferings of sentient beings, this is how we help the sentient beings. Right? So when we do this, so then Buddha is constantly looking on us. So then when the Buddha sees, when Buddha realizes that what we are doing, so exactly same as what Buddha was doing, so they will please with us because we are helping sentient beings, we're wishing to help sentient beings. Those kind of thoughts or those kind of actions actually kind of going along with Buddha's thoughts. So then so when they realize what we're doing, as when it comes to helping sentient beings, so then they can actually please with us, our actions, or with us, and please with our actions. So this is how we can please sentient beings. All this can happen only if we have the great compassion or the compassion. Compassion becomes the root of all this. This compassion actually makes the possibility to have all this happen.
that is what other ninji getting with ninji should come to the ninji in Sundua. Should you let it to China, should them delay to chip euros. Chikanshi ninji was ninji the should come to the tower of chamber. No, this ninji 어디에서 재산 ninji도 음악주배 출주래 산계장생의 처벌마주제 아니 ninji를 처벌해 로아유의 주인한 게또 다가서 거기 어쨌든 결로도 필요 간지 진이 결로도 편조디 내가 유인도 롱진 내가 멤버 더블 리교바 디지털 통만 인지 되버지스 제세 쇼라 저기 음악주배 출주래 산계장생의 처벌마주제 인지 친구를 처벌해 어제에서는第一的年纪对应的他们这个早晚是什么？学习了地的钱呢？去他们这了地的钱不交了是，学习不得开了嘞，上届的去他们这了地的学习不得了地的钱呢？上届的去他们这了地的钱不交了是，这的开始年纪是这不的，年纪钱不得，你觉了远了。아니 상계를 추탐제 인지띠 자와제는 연구해 버려 인지띠 추탐제가 자와를 지jen 티버지 추탐제 지단 추탐제가 자와를 아니 인지 침부스야 디 티버지 디네 정득 인지 침부스야 됐다 티버지 추탐제가 자와 있는 거지. 티베침비 출리 티베침비 디지가 장주 초도 생적으로 장주이 생기 자와 디인지리 디난의 인지디 좀득 인지세야 돼. 어디에서 인지디 개천부인 거래. 재산이 Papa Jenny see to get the tower jabal on say Papa Jenny says here the Jen 6 Jenny 6 here the Jenny same jelly scene to get the tower jabal on a chibins. Just to get the tower jabala watching it needs team, but it needs it, 중에도 대화를 제바티 대화를 제바 대용기 버리 니지면은 중에도 대화를 제바티 용기야 말봐 중에 니지세야티 중에진게 선절면에 아니 대 중에도 되는 지마루 냠바티 텐두기 니지 집죠 야디 중에도 대화도 다기 적인 스프링체버디 좀더 인지 좀 보세요. 어디 인생 민지세야 계층부 인상 우마집에 취주래 산계도 전주 선부도 소리 초반 맞지버지 아니 민지를 쳐버지 어 그래서 단지진이 자별로도 편조디 사변단에 변을 추적 유림도 노진내를 매버더블 뒤집어 지지를 다하게 통만 인지 되버리지 엄마주가 최지라 인지를 되버리 재산 인지세야디 나지 인지께서리 유만 부여봐 지단 안부인지께야디 동네 진지 선제렵지 지단 동네 진지 선제 간거 선제 간거 대파 소리 맞으버리기는 동네디 이해봐 tumema partum kandechi tagine tungegi narora janja imbari toje burabjine tungegi nar jambujine tungegi nar tandu jambule shendatusu 다 주다도시는 유기둥에 뒤때 진용의 열바 생기둥에 빠짐에 열바 어디야래 이니 세상 동의진이 생제세야지 이런 다들 인지세야지 다 그래서 취직을 뒤도ችን 산지 최탐제를 뒤도 제발교로 취직하시는 인지고 선들 다 인지디 제발친구 남기 자원 인지리 인지군을 남기 참 전주고 생계부로 봐 대신 먼저 맛이 딘수 인무 잠파 니 하선 인지 아니 하선 제부로가 어디에서 인지 어디 인지 전부디 개 전부디 다른 하나도 인지 전부 계약이 유디에 만부터 체리야 봐 그래도 얘기만 붙여야 재산이 인지 친구들이 개 친구를 있다 연대 탐지를 잡아 대배 친구 자주 생기 잡아 뒤 인지 뒤 어디 이상 다디 전주 선바 친구를 배 전주 내가 산지 동네 제레스 있어야지 현재의 시내 동네의 저를 제발로 세디 제레시디 파바 제레시디 현재 내진기 생장을 메네 아니 시내 아니 동네의 저를 제발로 인생 파바 제레시 세디 여기다 버리 제발 다 삼일
So then again, the compassion is the main core practice of the Mahayana. And again, it says if you have one dharma in your hand, so then all rest of the dharma will follow with that one dharma in your palm, right? So then generistic, gen means like eye, right? And the sik means looking or gazing or staring. So then their compassion eye is gazing on sentient beings constantly. So that's what we call generistic or avalokiteshvara. So the avalokiteshvara is the embodiment of compassion, right? Compassion. So then his uh, his vi- his uh, his uh, um, his the evolution was constantly looking at the suffering sentient beings. That's what we call genesis. Onshu, the part of onshu means someone who has power and controls one of power. So then, because of his compassion, so his power, when we say genesis, onshu, right? Onshu is power one. So power one. So what makes him it's Genesis powerful because of his compassion. Compassion is the main factor of the power. So the compassion is the one of the major kind of factor of the avalanche towards activities. Yeah. So then so the and also when we look at the text called the entering to the middle way, right? Entering to the middle way. So then they're composed by Shanti Deva, Shivahara Shanti Deva. So then normally when they composed texts, so in the tradition, they need to go homage or refuge, take some refuge to holy beings. So then in that text, Shanti Deva just bothered to take refuge only on compassion. So then there actually said 4 lines from the beginning, the part of the homage prayers. So the rough translation for the homage prayer will be like, so all these the qualities of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, they all have like so pretty or beautiful the qualities, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and during the path, and then the causes of this, the beautiful ornaments and stuff like that. All of these are rooted by compassion. So because of that, I will go refuge or go take refuge or I go homage to the compassion. So that's why the Shanti Deva just take homage. Normally, traditionally, they take homage to other holy beings. So the Shanti Deva to homage to the compassionate mind. So because the compassionate mind, he considered compassionate mind is the root of all the good things. That's why he was just taken the refuge under the compassionate mind.
다들 바바치네 온주 설계살에 지린 동네데 되어지고 다 사모동 사물 주반이 다 그냥 바바치네 온주 사물 주반 바바치네 온주 사물 주반 되버디르베 다티네 동네데 되어 다 사물 주반이 동반이는 미바고스 다기네 어디지 답변에 니지다 자주가 심세야디 수구두지게 나 다기네 추구두지디 아니 사메죄반이 동반이를 미바고 사메죄바 세야디니 동반이를 이 동반이를 미베 동 로지 들렸어 사메죄바스게 사모 동반이를 쥐바 삼반이를 미바스 어디지 닐라 넘버 타와니 신기 동바 타우 어다 동반이를 미바고 닐라 넘버 타와니 삼에 동반이를 넘버 타와스 니시야티 동반이라스 넘버 타와니 라시기 동베 타우 스타 니 동반이 세디 동반이를 미 닐라 나버타와 세디 테네 라시기 투바타디 라시기 투바타 다체 담제세 다 사메주바니 동반이를 미바고 스체스 사메주바티 동반이 있어야지 니를 넘버 타와니 동반이를 넘버 타와티 라신기 다 동반이는 타우치티 가르레스는 니를 넘버 타와세트 동반이를 미바고 스체 Nila number towers, Samatumba Nila number 30, Ranshingi Tomber towers, Ranshingi Trube Tombas, Chur Tamja Ranshigi Matuba Yins, the Rashigi Mat Tanda Ranshi. Tower Gua Machane, Chutam Jarashigi Matuba Yin, number of Chena, Shukan Yin, Rashi Matuba Yin, number of Chen, Yaya Sam. And it is young some sitter, and you too much of this guy. She net sitting generation, but we is reality, Rashi, Matu that carriers, and the tower of G. How good were, and it in its Java chair, the Yapuya. Chitam Jerashi, never number towers, Sanji Chitam Jerashi. Ranshingi Tomba Nila Nabato, Ranshingi Tomba said, Ranshingi Tomba Tawa said, Tombani, Ranshingi Jube, Tomatilla, Tombani Siri. Chitamje Ranshingi Jube, Tombani, and Chitamje. Ranshingi Matuba is here. Or does Ranshingi Matuba in that Ranshingi Matuba Dayati, that Yumma Batanjali. Timu Mariba Signeti, Tenzi Signeti, Chutam de Rashi Trubata. Tiltawala Teneni, Chetam de Chadan Riat, Sambula Mipe Chabat, Nimbal Mipe Tonga, Pamala Mipe Timul Subatin Gigarba Chatam Musuti. Tinsa Chutam de Rashi, Nebati, Tayonosuna, any Karasubure. Nyomo Tamjik Zawa Nuguer. Nyomo Tamjik Zawa di Denzi Siati. Ranjo Dutch them there and she Matua in number of the Chilina, Denzi Nuguer. Siber Fujibatus. Tedum Chudam there and she never yes, Tedum Zan give it, Genayam, and Siber Koa de Supujibatus. Siber Korea Zawal Nuguer. Ni Siber Korea Zawal never yes, and Koala Koati Koala Giati, Lemi, Koala Giati, Rintu to Gureva. And Sibalatani Java Mijivaji Chaviari. Or Tinsani Tombanila. I don't do Koala Giati. So
let's see, profound. Okay. So the great being beheld to practice the profound perfection of wisdom. When we speak about great compassion, so all this practice, great compassion and bodhicitta, all this aspect of practice becomes a method aspect of practice. So then the method aspect, the purpose of method aspect practices are to develop or achieve the Rupakaya form of the Buddha. So now here when it says profound and then beheld the practice profound perfection of the wisdom, so that is the meditating on emptiness. So that practice aspect of the practice is called wisdom aspect of practice. So that actually creates causes and conditions for the Dharmakaya form of the Buddhas. So there's two different factors that produces two different results in Buddhahood or the enlightened state. Right? So now here it says the perfection of profound perfection, okay, practice of profound perfection. So the Avalokiteshvara at that time, his object of meditation is emptiness, right? Emptiness. And then the mood of the meditation or the when how this our Lukshti or meditate on an object is like seeing or analyzing the lack of inherent existent nature of the phenomena, right? So then his object of meditation is emptiness, and the way in which he does meditation on the object is like finding or looking whether they are truly exist or not. This is how the exercise of meditation will be finding or analyzing the truth, whether there's a true nature of the phenomena or not. So this is how they meditate on that, right? So then, for instance, so when we meditate on emptiness, emptiness is meditating on emptiness, or meditating on emptiness means that we are kind of like dealing with the root cause of the samsara. So the root cause of the samsara would be self-grasping. So self-grasping is something that making us believe all things are truly exist, right? So because of this misunderstanding, so then we develop all these mental emotions like hatred and attachment and all attachment and everything. Because of that, because of this misunderstanding, force us to develop attachment and aversion. So then attachment and aversion actually force us to make distinction between sentient beings. Some we consider as a friend, some we consider as an enemy, some we consider as just a neutral beings. Because of this, the force of attachment and the aversion, attachment and aversion making us distinction between sentient beings. So when we make a distinction between sentient beings, then all of our misfortune problems begins from there. So that's why the misunderstanding, the self-grasping, and because of self-grasping triggers the two poisons, and the two poison triggers all this negative karma and stuff like that. So that's why it said the root cause of all this problem is the self-grasping mind, self-grasping. So because we're lacking, then when we meditate on emptiness, so meditate on emptiness, we try to understand we try to meditate on the opposite of that kind of mind. So we begin to think about like all things are not truly exist. They are lacking their kind of self nature, and they're lacking inherent nature of this phenomenon. So when we begin to think about it, even it said that having a doubt about emptiness, you may think like maybe it is possible that all things are not made and not be truly exist the way they exist, the way they appear. So by having that kind of doubt, actually can kind of shake or begin to begin to move, so that begin to move or shake, so like the existence of samsara, right? Samsara. So because we are dealing with the root, the foundation of very much we call samsara existence. When we deal with this kind of root, when the root gets like uncertain, root gets like corrupted, so then all the other existing samsara begins to move or shake, shredder sort of that. So then becomes really unstable. All this, the existence of samsara will become unstable. And then we can actually deal with all these problems very easily, right? So that's why, so when we say like the meditating on emptiness means that we are analyzing whether they are truly exist or not. So then we need to find out this. So then normally, and sometimes, so first, in order to understand it, in order to reach that kind of level of understanding, so first we need to know what things exist, if they exist, how they exist, the mode of the existence. And if they are not exist, how can they be like, non-existent? What is lacking? So we need to analyze, we need to study that, then we need to meditate, then we can realize the emptiness.
So this is that teacher. Sami Juveniti to Juve.
You did it.
Yeah. That number two. Ranshiki number two. What the Ranshiki tomba number two. Can that's a sheet of the carrier. Kumbuta come the Gijila Super the dining bed. Nisan. 공부하고 대단해요. 시베 양전이 감다 예지다 예지라는 식이 동바 넘버 Takaba Dubo, statue, Pumbungabu Seatita, Pumbungabu Dinanjo, Suji Pumbu Seati, Lubutu Suji Pumburi, Suji Pumbu, number shiba Pumbu City, Luitili Tapuchini, number shiba Sharabata, number shiba Tirang 70, number shiba Pumbus, and Tini Soya Pumbus Yati, Tini Lula, never Chichi, Bessie, Swati, Sunet, Swatuni, Guyarba, and it Lula developed in the into Swat, developed in the Inguyarba, Swasiati Tiri, Pumbunga Bosiati, Suji Pumbu, Namsi Pumbus, Tini Soya Pumbu. Dushi Pumbu, Duji Pumbu. One of the Tansma Pumbunga Busiati, Suji Pumbuji, a number shape of Pumbuji, Suji Pumbu Dingarando, Lubutis Suji Pumbuji. Number shape of Pumbu around the same chair, the number shape of Pumbus. Soya Pumbusiati, number shape of the Tamsam. 기분이야. 참참 술 공부를지 참잠을 술려야 기분이야 저랬지 류처럼 대화스게 아니 양 류려 말아버린데 제 제수는 류 동의기에 봐. 이 류지처 동의기에 류될 때네. 저 동의기에 어디 재선 풍부하고 데리베. 풍부하고 되게 수지 풍부제. 저의 풍부제. 남바시베 풍부제. 뒤시지 풍부제. 뒤지지 풍부제. 들려 풍부하고 쓰제. 다 풍부하고 되어랑 돌려야 돼. 이치 풍부하야리 지다. 나도 풍부하야리. 나도 풍부하게 안 돌려야리.
So now here said the profound perfection of wisdom, and saw that the five aggregates are empty of nature, right? Empty of nature, never truly existence. The five aggregates are form aggregates, the consciousness aggregates, and the feeling aggregates, and then the compositional factor of the perception of aggregate of perception. So for instance, the first one is aggregate of form is obvious, and then the aggregate of feel the consciousness is the mind. In the mind is aggregate of consciousness, and then the aggregate of feeling. Feeling is like sometimes we have good feeling, sometimes we have bad feeling. It depends on our body. So then we come into contact with the pretty kind of feelings that give us some kind of joyful experience in our the mental aggregates or the consciousness aggregates. And then it comes to contact with something is undesirable. So then it gives us some kind of like uneasiness or not feeling nice. So it affects our mental consciousness, right? So these are the five aggregates. So when it says like an empty nature of five aggregates, there are outer five aggregates, inner five aggregates. This is we are looking into the inner five aggregates, or whether they are truly exist or not.
풍부하고 대단한 신비 동반한 것도 뒤에 있어서 야디 제시가 양전이 니순 면에 뒤에 바바제네스 뒤에 동반이 미바 라신지 동반한 것도 풍부하고 대단한 리기수가 다 양저기 뒤에 컴다 계지스 컴들 미바이지 컴도 대운도 컴도 tembanamshi come to sing come to guess at the did. Then comes gauges at gauges. Chi gauge to Nangi gauge to send a gauge to see at the teacher.
So then text goes on. Let's see. Yeah. Five aggregates empty of nature. Then through the Buddha's power. Oh.
Pumping at this one.
Oh, this should okay. So let's see. It says perfection of wisdom, and so the five aggregates are empty of nature. Okay, empty of nature. And then in the Tibetan it says Pumbungabodhidalaya, means like so apply same idea to either lack of inherent existence or empty of nature, right? Empty of nature apply same idea to elements and the what you call elements and 一切吧，哦，好嘞，是难度，铁蛋来了啊，铁蛋来了，这里是老师，so there are the five aggregates, okay, so then in Tibetan version it says apply to the others, so others, same idea apply to the others, right? That includes 16 elements and 就给说给중립 할래 되지 감정이 18 elements and 12 계절
is 움직여. Sense faculty 적을래.
sense faculty, right? The sense faculty, that's 12 types of sense faculties. Yeah.
뭐 그리고 들렸어.
Then 지난 때는 상기 투 세다 대마 샤리 부스 에들레스. 추 표수 토바 딜레문이 있어.
그 체대는 뭐 셔리고 딜베. 얘네 체대는 뭐 시르베.
No.
얘네 상기기 투 체대는 뭐 셔리고 전주 선배서 뭐지 바바jen에서 온줄로 되게 지면서 스터디 스터디 되게 지면서 시 상계지 진결하게 틀어 때문에 셔리그 지진기리 진기 뒤지에 장주기 초도 sem께네 람디수 예색이 주베 민국 시진 냠내로 로반 되바디 취지들 롭시 제르실다 지변이 뒤제 지제리 진기 리지 보모 강라라 탑기초 자천비 용수 중에 대권의 용수도 또배 싫었다. 영혼도 좋아진기 동일의 매를 교성 공순 싫어서 다시 다 어디 그러네 그래서
얘네 상기 투
디네 상기기 투 찾는데 뭐 싫고 저러 다 디네 시험 주어지는 이제 바바 셔리보다 전주 심바 바바 제레스니 주어지는 제기여러 봐. 디스 주어지는 제버디 상기기 투 진길lemne 제베리 디에서는 디 주어지는 제베도 또 상기 숭이 시리 상기 숭이인데 그래서는 바바 셔리보다 제레스를 봐 상기기 투 진길럽 때는 좋은데 제버봐 디에서는 바바제레스다 셰리분이 그 란독지 송샤바치 마이사 데스 산기 파바체리 그 송당 셰리프 송 마이스 데스 산기 그 트리티 제베니스니 또 진실에 가니스 우리
So then it goes on. Venerable Shariputra said to Noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, how should a child of noble family who wish to practice the profound perfection of wisdom train? Right? So here, Shariputra is being asked, someone's asking questions, and then the Avalokiteshvara is giving answer to that questions. So both of them are actually blessed by Buddha. So Buddha, it is intention. Buddha's the workings being presented to Avalokiteshvara through Shariputra, but so the intention of that question would be intention of Buddha. It's not actually volunteer kind of questions from Shariputra. Shariputra was, blessed to ask that kind of questions. So then the answer to that questions from Avalokiteshvara. So again, Buddha blessed Avalokiteshvara, and then the answer to that question is actually intended by Buddha Shakyamuni. Again, the answer is not volunteer kind of answer from Avalokiteshvara. So because of that reason, this is called a blessed sutra. Blessed sutra, the sutra, and the Buddha's teachings, kind of like Buddha's teaching through the blessing, so something like that. So then, since there are questions, asking questions and answer, this question and answer taking place because of Buddha's intention. So that's why we consider this sutra as Buddha's teaching, actual Buddha's words.
that's 이 가리바도 줬어. 이제
Pesos.
리기범 간을 탑초 자친부 용수 수에 대권은 무슨 또 뒤줘서 그기를 봐. 아,
리기범 간을 셔를 버르치는 사무처가 되바 대체라. 넘버 타워 차대.
뒤줘를 봐. 다디. 다디 디 파바셰리부당 전주 선바 제레스 니지 저거는 디 제바들이 디 저거는 제바디 산지게 추 진길음니 저거는 제바인스니 산지게 진길에 가인스리 이지 저거는 디 셰리부당 디기 나마이스 random 지중에 나한테 말봐 아버지에서도 셰리분이 저한테는 제버티 저한테는 제야티 산지기 트위 저한테는 제버인 산지 저한테는 제버티 산지기 진길에 가까이 있어 그래서
This.
어디지스 전주초도 생계에 남들 계속 주변에 실어지 버릴 좀 로바 되버디 취지도 럽지 제레실라 뒤원이 주제 티징이 리징이 보험 리지보모시아디 티징이 리징이 보험 리지보모 하나라 어디 주제 티징이 리징제 하나라 특기 초 자친부 용수 중에 다 특기 초 자친부디 제소파를 친부 줄어도 전주가 있습니다. 저번에 세지 파를 친부 줄어서 그때 다기 심배 자친부 용수 중에 대권은 용수도 또 비시를 다디 되니 대권은 또 용수도 또 비시럽지 탁지 차용 수조의 심벌이 싫어 지레시기를 또는 순도도 싫어 doing musun to be sheriff dilla. Yarang juji doing musun to be sheriff dosu. Tiba chimbu, tabji jachimbu simba maraba. Dimda simba mara. Dinyesani, tatande di tiba chimbu rijingi. Juji, tabja chimbu simba, dekona musun to be sheriff. Di mundu druwa jingi, dungi mibe tosan konsum. Da, dungi musun to be sheriff di. Dibuni, musun to be sheriff di, sine kunjum sheriff rapsiche. 이 문도 가를 로그레 스네 동이 미베 최종 시럽 삼중 시럽 아니 공주 시럽 초적인 내가 수 동이 든지 저들 공주 시럽 여러 두수 무슨 뜻도 시럽 디 시럽당 디 문도 좋아 쟁기 동이를 미베 터선 고송무사 최종의 시럽, 삼중의 시럽, 공중의 시럽, 시럽수, 시럽 이제 바로 침바 삼은 뭐였던 시중기 시진남내기 제바 저반 더바디 지다르 라버자시 지스타디 지워디제
Okay, so now go down to the paragraph says, shall put the novels. Okay. This is what he said. The noble outlooks toward the bodhisattva and the great beings. No, not this one. Yes, no, sorry. Yeah. This is what he said. Okay. How should a child of noble family who wishes to practice the profound perfection of wisdom training? So this is the question. So here it says noble family. Noble family is referred to someone who has bodhicitta mind, and then they develop bodhicitta, and then wish to train into the path of the bodhisattva path, right? And then so this group of people is called the noble family. Noble family is someone who has bodhicitta. Right? So then here it's saying that okay, really okay, so means so some so really for noble family, okay, noble family, noble son or daughter. So that that refers to someone who's bodhicitta, someone who has bodhicitta, means like these beings has been engaged into the method aspect of the practices. They have acquired all these causes and conditions or the merits from the method aspect of the practices, which are the Mahayana sort of like the Bodhisattva practices. So they have engaged into the method aspect of practices. They acquire all these causes and conditions for that. They have a strong background of method aspect of the practice of Bodhisattva. So then now they are really well prepared for the emptiness, understanding of emptiness that is actually supported by or facilitated by the great deeds of methods. So that's what it's called. So they have prepared for that. So then they will be asking like how we should pray as someone who is qualified at such a level. They're practitioners, right? Okay. Okay. So now it says so this such a level, the level being, they need to see or they need to understand or they need to realize emptiness or the suchness of the thing directly. Directly. They need to know this directly. So then that it will be the bodhisattva, bodhisattva practice, the bodhisattva's bodhisattva who's seeing emptiness directly, right? So in order to reach that kind of level, there are some prior the requirements of like, so prior requirement would be like, you need to listen to this Dharma teaching. First, you need to listen to this. This is like the meditation, right? Also means that when you see emptiness directly, that is the level of meditation, understanding of meditation. In order to receive that kind of understanding of meditation, so there are like some requirement prior to that kind of understanding. So there will be like a term, but some means like you need to listen to these teachings, right? Understand the nature of the teaching, and then you need to contemplate on their teachings. You need to analyze yourself. You need to investigate on these teachings, investigate on these teachings. At the end, so when you find something, so then you need to put your mind on place on that object and meditate, and then you see that object directly. So this is how you do. Okay, so sharing was more. Oh, and so yeah. So then, so first you apprehend, realize, contrive, or inferential kind of understanding of emptiness. Right? This will be done when you are on the path of the accumulation and path of preparation. So on the path of preparation, on the path of accumulation and path of preparation, so you analyze, you go through all these Terpasamas, listen to the teachings, contemplation on the teaching, then you will gain some level of understanding. So that understanding of emptiness we call inferential understanding of emptiness, or the contrived understanding of emptiness, or loose understanding of emptiness.
다 필요해. 다 걸렸어.
아니, 맞춘 거네. 내가 남도 전주 셈바 치고 가봐 제르시 제대로 셔를 되게 매소스. 남나라 림바타 로바가 토마 솔람기 값수 시칭가 퇴선 니조치 로바 당 레포리스.
퇴선기 죄진. 그래. 본분하고 대단히 세대.
차사수.
아,
차사수.
차례. 어디네? 어디네? 수분란시 실을 때네. 세대.
그래서 어디도 시다시 라오스.
어디네? 수분란시 랑기 더 실을 때네. 민도 또베 파르타네 샤바 마토바 수분란기 뒤로 중간에 주바 매베나 수 란시 동바 다우다 수란시 동바 넘버 다우 세야체르바 디티 수디 란시 동바디 더주디 가르레스는 란시 동주디 공부 수분란기 더 실을 때네. 민도 또베 파르타네 샤바 인선 샤바 잠마도 수분란기 뒤로 중간에 주바야 말이셨으네. 수그란시 매세야티체.
So let's see. The five aggregates, they should see the five aggregators gets to be empty of nature, right? That the form is empty. Okay, we are at that section. Form is empty. So form is empty means so this the form so form is merely just label based on the basis of the form, and then on the basis of the form we'll label name, and we have a concept of that form, then we label and the concept of the form. So then the level of the concept of the form is being labeled on that the basis of aggregates. So the form is being labeled on the level on the level on or name on, put name on the basis of the aggregates. So that form is not actually inherently exists from the side of the basis of the aggregates. Okay? So this form is not even like a single atom has been linked to, or the link to the basis of the aggregates, or exists from the even like a single atoms exists from the basis of the aggregates.
That is so che tangi dentro tangi nanju dar kunzu ki tembata raharang dilu tadu ki tenda temba ni yula dati so that's so the tala soba to su dentro kunzu ki ne jiks ani tendambe ne jiks ni kunzu ki ne jiks so di rangi ni mishi di mare sudi rangi rani be mishi mi gen cheba yesani su kurangi kunzu jaji chawachi di jigi yares rangi dongbari di ni 체동계 말이지 체동스는 매버리 들어봐 나라시기 동바리에디 체동 말이지 이 가르에서는 그 조직이 랑이 자와지기 야리스 자와디 술레메베 수지미시 예야다 이네 수기 자와 랑이 제비기야로 수기 자와 제베인스는 수디 랑은 줄 동아리디 체동 말이스 이게 가르에서는 랑은 줄 동아리디 랑은 마주베 때문에 니 자직이 남샤시기에는 라는 미베 순진이 시기바라 소바도 수비 자와치기 야제스 젠지자 랑이 눈에 주고 차 중세장 매베 동반이디 다니야 민다 답에 샤베 수시 답에 샤베 마다마제베 저지니스 예베 수수시 수수의 최탐지기 때도 단위가 나주 이게 군도 tempada rarangi ilu terdu tenda temba ni mo ni hebaris cheta sudi arashi tube tombari di chedong baris 자직이 남샤 탐제 테리아리스 란시기 동백 때문에 자직이 남샤 탐제 해변에서는 남귀 취원되기 동반이 시야리 자직은 테리아리스 어디 동바티 제동 말이스 랑궁에 두베 동반이니야 야리스 예단지니 자직은 남샤 테리아리스 어디에서는 테리 제동 말이스 랑궁에 매나 매구야 말이스 랑궁에 매나양 자직은 남샤 탐제 태반에서는 다 남귀 충대기 동반이 시야리 수련시 동바들 남귀 충대기 동반이 이게 자직 고랑문에 두게 동네요 동바디 때문에 자직이 남샤 군 태반이 is
So now, so when we look at any phenomena, including form and so on, each and every phenomena, so they always have two aspects. So the one aspect is called conventional aspect, and then the ultimate aspect. So the tiny nouns, again. So the conventional aspect is just merely level the object, and then when we designated the object as a particular kind of object, as a form and so on, so then they tend to carry the same function of that object. Is with the form, the function as a form, right? And then any forms, any other object, they have their own kind of function on that, right? So then the what's called the ultimate level. So there are lack inherent existence. Their lack of inherent existence means they do not have that kind of quality by itself on that object by itself independently. That's the meaning of lack of inherent existence. Right? So when we say these things are lack of inherent existence, we are not saying all these things are empty, completely empty. Completely empty means like non-existence. They are not exist at all. We're not saying that. So we're saying their lack of inherently existence means like so all this the name or the quality we put onto that object is not from the side of the object, right? So it's not only aside from the object. It's not independently the function or the exist from the objectives only from the objective side. So that is lacking. That is something lacking, in that object. That's what we call it lack of inherent existence. If this something is inherently existent, that quality has to be on that object independently. So for instance, like when we say conventionally form, they do have function in conventional level. So that means that one of the functions, like when we look at an object, that object can actually cause our eye consciousness to see that object. That's the one function, right? So then it has a function. So then another function is like some form, they have a potential, they can produce a result, they can produce they can produce result. So that is one of the function of the phenomena, the form. So then, so basically saying like these two aspects, the conventional aspect and the ultimate aspect, they actually sit on like one object. Each and every object has these two aspects, right? So this two aspect is reside, or this two aspect is kind of like hold on to, is possessed by one object. One object can have two aspects: conventional aspect and the ultimate aspect. Yeah, ultimate aspect. So that means that in other words, that means like one entity having two different faces or two different aspects. Or any questions?
Not question. Ano ngayon di kapag tundam dematila. 저리 tundam dematila ngayon 자제기 이 다투면은 자제유는 다시 군도 dematila 자제유로 이게 tundam dematila ngayon 자제문 중투유는
단위 덴바디 랑기 동의도 시를 깨버지 미개치열이 중반이는 미니 동의도 시를 끼기열 봐 어디에서니 자직이 남샤 티열이 그래서는 군도비 자직한 것 동백난의 지열 동백난의 정확한 거 지열이 동방이면 자지 되게 양말. 그래서는 데미든 시질을 누려야 돼. 덴버도 누르와. 덴버도에 동안에서는 데미든 심인 거지. 니 동방만이 자지가 넘쳐간 거 되게 돼.
My question is whether there is any function regarding the ultimate truth or not.
So the answer to that question is yes. The ultimate truth do have a function. For like really one obvious answer would be like there's a mind that comprehends that ultimate truth. So this is one of the function, right? And then when we look at all the conventional phenomena, conventional thing, they all have function. We agree on that, right? All these conventional things has function. All these all of these conventional phenomena has function because of the empty nature. If there's all these conventional phenomena are not empty, inherently empty, so then it is possible they can function the way they function in naturally, because they will take away the possibility of functioning, because if they are truly existent, it becomes like unrelated to each other. So if they becomes unrelated to each other, they cannot function mutually. So that's why, because of the mutual kind of functioning, so that the mutual kind of function occurs or take place because of empty nature.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question that Janine had yesterday, since somebody else asked one at the moment. She asked, why is Ananda considered an ordinary being in the assembly of bodhisattvas and Aryas or arhats?
이 꿈가워요라. 꿈가워 미규마 가르친데 가르치는 그런 미규마 찍어래스.
야,
미규마.
전주 선바 많이 받지. 다 전주 선바 다
규마스라고 해나. 규마란.
규마스.
규마스란 캔서.
그거지. 다들 자주부 톱자야를 봐. 다 자주부 톱자야를 지다. 야, 딘디 이 내가 수 자주부 많이 내가지 중얼 봐. 딘이가 끼지 해야지 봐. 다들 자주부 네, 군가우 마토바디 제르바디도 군가우 자주 토양 말봐. 데데 자주 마토바니서 소수교인 말이다. 미규면서는다 소수교를 해시기.
So the ordinary, so Ananda is as a reference an ordinary being. It's not exactly like ordinary kind of thing. So the Ananda is being considered as ordinary being because he wasn't the Arhat at the time. He wasn't Bodhisattva at the time. He was Sosokyu means the being who ordinary being, right? Ordinary being.
Ordinary being.
말 파버리다. 파버리.
Okay, so you just use ordinary being. Okay. Oh.
You were talking about the bodhisattvas, of the people who are acting to help others. And right now, the students in the universities are protesting the war, and they are trying to stop the genocide of the people in Gaza and everything. So they are acting as bodhisattvas because they are being hurt by the police and whatnot, by the universities, punished. Can you speak about how we might be able to help the students, these beautiful bodhisattvas, or how we can be helpful, perhaps, somehow?
Center the change symbol center shedisha.
음.
근데 내가 리오레사 근데 너한테 마저 걸어. 이 가자다 무슨 마저 걸어. 마저치 근데 부글랍도 보고만 보여레서 change symbol 랍도 보고만 보여레서 프랑스 아니 그게 랍마디 가야다 근데 치야치도 배디 치고레서 아니 change symbol 보고 저래 펜토야 그렇지요레서.
다 팬들 아무놈 잡 뭐놈 야버져. 아니 어디지 그랬더니 현재로부터인데 이제 이기로 어딘데 이제 아니 어딘데 레다스 생기 팬도지 당지
Yes.
류지 뭐그 펜도지야 열봐 펜도지야들 심지 펜도지야도 뭐그 거네 펜도지야 심지 거네 펜도지야디다 뭐는 된대죠 그 남중이 이야기지 근데 뭐는 된대다 지 진짜지야들 봐 심지가 준세야디 심기 토니까 문제 야버리 선벌받지는 심기 토니까 조르지지 이제
So yeah, so you can help them with mentally. For instance, wish them to meet with their goal and achieve their goal, and wish them to succeed in their whatever they're looking for and desire for. And then if you are capable, you can help them with the material, like like support them with money, support them with like physical body. This kind of there's many ways to help them.
Another question from online, Khensur asks, by the power of the Buddha and both Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara were speaking, does that mean that the words they were saying were the Buddha's words? Were they aware that the words that they were saying were not theirs? To what degree were they controlled? Under such control, are they protected from the environment?
From environment? This is already this is what has already singular guy is what singular guy is what that the color the Sherry Buddha Chenesi Koran the Koran top and developed and Basung Shaju Mare, Chilatus Nash Resla. I did not see dresses of that. Koran alibegoro shagoro da koran le nuba khas koran di artisan ki sum de re same de swad ni ke yorwe and di koran di yo and koran ki ta pena sharif puja wi na koran ki ta di na lo le tiwa di na lo le nyam shu che ki tiwa de khaso che khaso yore ta de ro si bor
그런데 다들 저자야 돼 최종도 그 중월에 스탠드전 매비전에 인디질이야 최종도 그 교화되는 중월에 봐 이에서 뒤그 그런 게 삼루단에 저자는 중요한 말이 어디 최종도 지중월에 뒤지 산지기 진질러버린 중월에 봐 이런 그런 안도기 저들은 맞중에서 그런 것을 말 쉬게 말 뒤뒤인데
ta 근데 di singular gas de bala de le lo de tue shue de to de tiwa de le to sna shi yore so ro
아
ta de chue de to tue wa de ko tue de ga ni ta de ya tiwa to sna shi sa ge da chue tue de ga tiwa de slash yore la bora ni
체 들어봐다 지다 되네 그런 저 텐두기 로지 깨버려 로지 최종의 중을 봐 최종의 저 돼야 돼 지금 그런 게 인데스 레벨도 인데스 레벨 생산 매비지 그런 게 나기다 어디 저들이 진짜 중물에 최종 좀 담고 어디지 때 용기티 세제발 산적이 진길레부터 용기지 버리는 시지 그런 게 삼루다니 배진 전이 주샵지 말이야
so that's fully sort of like controlled by Buddha's intention looks like. So what happens like Shariputra has been listening to the teachings, right? And listen to the teachings. And then result of that, listen to the teaching, result of that. So then at that moment, and the question arose of like in his mind instantly. So it's not like he has a plan to ask that kind of questions. So then question come into his mind instantly, and then he presented that question in front of him. That's what it called. All of this occurs happen because of the Buddha's blessing.
Thank you, Rinpoche. I have a question on how to be skillful when fear appears while you're meditating on emptiness. If you could give some advice, please.
Can you say that again? Sorry, what?
How to be skillful when fear
Fear,
appears
okay.
while you're meditating on
Okay.
emptiness.
Okay. And this is the Tomani like Gomjagua, Tomani Gomjag, Namda, the Lansona, and the Namda, the Marosel, the Tashka, the Odyssey. Namda, the Candace language is still.
That Rame Ran Namindu Sambarabati Namdar of Dindi Gavina did any Chikarature. Chidanti Namda di Gene Yapuri is here. Carson Tombani Desi Lane Wearva. Chum to do Namendu Sambarabati. Did Tombani Toma did do it in the series. Digitati, Trabati, Tombani, Trabati, Tuni Shani, Trabachikia Yerba, Dita Chibachiche. Trabati, Jidan Yapuri, Trabati Yapuche. Any that that I made to say Lamsanti in Burbata Trabat Kigati. Any did you Dematatu and now Karasuri. Nakansayi, not Jordan, Chepapuin, Senior, not Dombani, Lodrugini, December of 20 Kevin. Did not met Yambeni Lotis said Turba.
So in general speaking, when we meditate on emptiness, because of the emptiness meditation, if you experience fearful kind of feeling, so that feeling is a good indication. It's a very positive effect of doing this meditation. So what happens when we meditate on emptiness, especially when we analyze whether self exists or not? So the result of this meditation, and when we go through this process of meditation, analytical, so then at the end, sometimes we feel like a sense of losing the nature of I, so sense of losing, disappearing yourself, I. So then when it occurs sometime, that brings a lot of fearful experiences. So then if that experience is due to that kind of factor, because of this sense of losing yourself, I, so then that is a good sign, right? So then in order to overcome that kind of feeling, so then when you get out of your meditation session, so then you will experience yourself, you will experience your, you as a person, you will experience that you will see like someone I'm studying, someone I'm doing meditation. So then that understanding, that feeling should overtake or overcome your sense of fear when you have during the meditation on emptiness.
Thank you.
Yvonne asks, is it correct to understand that without the dharmas of compassion and wisdom, that the contemplation of emptiness could lead to a direction towards nihilism?
Can you say it again? What is that?
Is it correct to understand that without the dharmas of
What is that? The emptiness?
understand that, just like, is it correct to come to a general understanding that without the dharmas of compassion and wisdom, that the contemplation of emptiness could lead to a direction towards nihilism?
This is a vision. Tomani number share, Tomani number share. Chanju is same Mavina, and Tomani number share the Cheddar Lungu race, seriously. Cheddar red would race seriously.
Chetan Lumari, good Janjus and Mujutimania. Didn't never did. 마년바야리.
Yeah.
너번 전주생기 너번 냠야마리. 그
말 전주쌤 마게바 이나스그서 전주쌤 로드는 마게바지 아니 동만이 냐바리 시아와 동만이 냐야를 시아와 이나 체다를 훔시게 베스 딱딱 논주치 나기
어래
딱지 노르바 베스
가지 거주디 야부 주는 제달로 말봐. 가지 거주디 가자디 수 수여바 디랑 신기 여바르지 당라 수여바다 수랑 신기 여바르지 지도르지 여 치마신부제 아니 수랑 시 주바가 주도 수가도는 가지 띵브리다 디 너도 가자당 당이도 가적간이 수들려야 지여버디 야부민지 제부여봐 가적간이 수들려야 매버지 근데 중선은 디디 남다티기 여봐 이 nim단진이다 체전을 먹었어.
So the falling into nihilism is something to do with how you identify the object of negation. So then if you define object of negation correctly, and then you will not fall into nihilism. Otherwise, if you find object of negation mistakenly or wrong, identify as wrong object of negation, so that may actually cause you to fall into nihilism. It seems like there's nothing to do with like, the compassion, wisdom, or anything like that. So then, because for instance, let's see, the one of the major confusion we get when we try to find object of negation is that we get confused between the lack of inherent existence of the form. For instance, take example as a form, right? Lack of inherent existence of the form or non-existent of the form. So we get confused. So when we talk about the form is lack of inherent existence, somehow we get idea of like a non-existent of the form. So when we if we cannot make a distinction between these two things, so when we negate the object of negation, like the inherent existence of the form, so at the same time we tend to negate the existence of the form. So when it happens that, so that actually falls into nihilism. So.
Carolyn asks, can Rinpoche speak about the fifth aggregate consciousness? It is the only aggregate that continues lifetime after life. How is it that it is impermanent yet it continues?
And this was already 남시 공부해라. 남시 공부. 남시 공부도 깨워치는 지도 준 중에 남시 공부들을 해서. 깨워치는 준 중에 남시 공부들이나 이 답벌이셔스. 이 답을 하듯이 세레스.
답은 말입니다. 답이 깨지 그게 두어두야 돼. 때 남식 분부디 사마제부터 야리디 그 유어두리 연대 매번에 연대 유어 우리 그냥 지 산에 살아서 표주도 먹고 깨지리 두어두야 돼.
So yeah, I think 깨워진 지도 중에 또 해라.
That's okay. 안한두디 수수 답은 말봐. 수수 답은 말이지. 야, 로켓에 대버지 대버지 답은 말봐고. 그 깨지리 누구야 봐.
So yes, this consciousness, aggregate consciousness travels from one life to another life, one life to another life, but it is a permanent phenomenon because of the nature of the impermanent. No, so that's the impermanent. Sorry, this phenomena is impermanent. Because of the impermanence, actually allows us to become like impure to pure mind, and unknowing mind to knowing mind, and then every stages of the path we can travel from like one stages to the second stage. All of this are possible because of impermanent. If this is impermanent, if this is permanent phenomena, so that will not happen.
Rinpoche, making a request on behalf of Gloria that you return next year to DNKL to teach on Yamantaka.
Yamataka? What's Yamataka? Just Yamataka? Okay, commentary. Okay, this is Yamataka. Sorry. Then the Gloria, so sabchini can shubini lojima page jig teach now yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, we'll stop here now.